Hey everyone, I wanted to make this video to talk about something that is very personal to me. Like everything on the internet and in life, I realize that once I share this information, it will be out there forever. Because of this, I ask that you are kind with your words and to just please be respectful. As most of you know, I'm a very open person. There is very little that I won't share about my life with someone, even someone I barely know. I've been trying to lead a life that shows how honesty and vulnerability will bring you the utmost connections with others to help you build stronger relationships. So, here's my story. When I was 17 years old, I was diagnosed with a rare disorder which affects my reproductive system. This disorder is called MRKH syndrome, and it is named after the 4 doctors who discovered it. What most people don't know is that 1 in every 5,000 women are born without their uterus. This video is something I wanted to make not only to share my story, but to speak up for those who aren't ready to share their own. So many people fear what others will think about them, say about them. Some are scared, and I don't blame them. Learning at a young age that you will never be able to carry your own children is extremely difficult, not to mention being a teenager and being told one more reason why you are far from normal. Most people forget that everyone is constantly going through their own battles and keeping their own secrets. This secret in particular has been slowly eating at me because even though I am open about sharing it, when people don't know the full and true version of me, I feel like I'm lying to them. MRKH causes the vagina and uterus to be underdeveloped or absent. This is something that people are born with, and in some cases it can also affect the development of the kidneys. I was born with very little depth in my vaginal canal and without a uterus. I was diagnosed at the age of 17 by my gynecologist after having an ultrasound and an MRI. She referred me to a doctor who is known for performing the surgery to expand the vaginal canal. Since this surgeon was not a pediatric surgeon, I had to wait until I was 18. Surgery is not something that is cheap by any means, and unfortunately, most insurances won't even cover it because it can be seen as a gender reassignment procedure or something that is cosmetic. I understand that a lot of people who have this surgery have to fundraise for this, and I just want people to know that these are some of the things that come with MRKH and the battles and the struggles. This surgery that I had was called the Vachetti surgery. It took about 8 or 6 hours, something like that. It was followed by about 2.5 weeks in this hospital, then about a 6-month full recovery. This procedure is very unique, and I'm very thankful for the amazing surgeons and staff at Mayo Clinic that helped me through this. While there are several options for women who are born with MRKH, this was the surgery that I was recommended to have. The design of this laparoscopic surgery is to elongate the vaginal canal with only 3 small incisions. In my case, I already had a small vaginal canal where they placed a marble-like figure that was threaded with 2 wires crisscrossed, and it came out either side of my abdomen. So I have 2 scars, one on my left, one on my right, and then I have an incision. They went through my belly button, so my belly button is kind of a different looking belly button now, but that's how they did it. And these wires come and they meet on a box that was placed just below my belly button, and it had like a dial that connected them, and every day the doctor would come in and they would put a tool in the dial and they would crank it slowly. So each day I was progressively gaining length by the stretching process. This was extremely painful, and because of this, I was on a morphine drip for the duration of my time in the hospital. I'm not going to lie, I don't remember much about the hospital because of this. Most of it was a blur. They decided I was ready to take out the wires and the box and detach me from all of this. I was so happy to be going home. I remember them forcing me to eat a meal and to keep it down. After that, I had to walk around the lobby of the floor that I was staying on. Because of the placement of the wires and more than likely the high dose of pain medication that I was on, I was unable to eat during the time that I was there, so I lost about 11 pounds. I've never felt so weak in my life, and as an athlete, I worried that I would not be able to return to competitive sports the way I knew. Track started that spring, and I never thought I would be able to compete in time. My doctor had warned me that my recovery was going to be up to my body, that I was going to have to listen to it and to be patient. Post-surgery was definitely the most difficult part of the whole process. I was told to expect about a 6-month full recovery, but that the first few weeks were going to be the worst. If I wasn't diligent in dilating like I was supposed to, there was the possibility of losing the length and basically ruining the whole surgery. So dilation is the most awkward, most uncomfortable part of this whole MRKH, if you ask me. Basically, my doctor gave me a collection of these plastic dilators that range in size, length, width, and you're supposed to start, small and progressively and gradually work your way up to the longest, largest, biggest. And what it is it's expanding that tissue that they just stretched out, just like any other muscle. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So this was a slow process of dilating and expanding this new tissue. You were supposed to do it for about 20 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day, until you get to the full length. And then I think it's more or less recommended that you still do it at least a couple days a week. Going back to school was another huge challenge aside from the dilation. I also, while I wasn't dilating, I was supposed to have this, I call it a retainer, but it was a pill-shaped glass figure, and that was basically to avoid closing of the tissue, just like any open area of your body that's new, like a piercing. You don't want it to close up, and obviously if this did close up, that would again ruin the whole process of the surgery. So I had to keep this in, and keeping it in was the biggest struggle. Every time I moved, sat down, stood up, anything, it would shift, move, it was uncomfortable, and going to school with that was a struggle. Most of my friends knew that I went to the hospital, why I was in the hospital. Some of them knew that I was in the hospital and didn't know why, and I'm sure that people at school had heard stories and people made up their own reasons why I was in the hospital. Despite my original thoughts, I received clearance from my doctor to rejoin the track team, and my coach was very patient with me as I was coming back from obviously a major surgery. I'd lost a lot of my muscle and my strength. I'm proud that I was able to compete in hurdles, high jump, triple jump, and although not very well, I also did throwing, shot put, and discus. Some days were definitely harder than others. Although I made it, I wouldn't be where I am today without all the wonderful people who supported and loved me through it all. My best friend, Jessica Sadie, spent every night in the hospital with me so that my mom could go home because she was there all day, every day. I was recently sent a message by a friend who saw a YouTube video of someone who was born without a uterus. I watched this video and I reached out to the girl. She openly shared with me her story and even connected me to a group of girls who were all MRKH survivors. And now we're all friends. We talk every day. We're in a big group chat. I truly believe that having this community in my life has been such an eye-opening experience, and it amazes me to see how strong we all are, and when we aren't, we can lean on each other. I am proud of who I am and who God chose me to be, and I wanted to share this so that maybe I can be a voice for someone else, whether it's MRKH or something completely different. I want you to know that you are never alone. There is always someone out there who understands, and I'm here to tell you that sharing your story can change someone's life, and sometimes it can even save someone. Thank you for listening, and I really appreciate everyone in my life for being supportive of me and my condition.